Hello, I'm Sarah Fitzpatrick and I'm one of the assistant head teachers here at Whitley Bay High School. And together with my colleague Gareth Ellis, who's our Director of Literacy, our role is to oversee the whole school approach to literacy. We've been carrying out lots of different activities this year. We have reading in tutor time. We also have our reading challenge, which is a competition between all classes. We also run 2 Rise and Read sessions, as well as texting regularly home book suggestions. So first of all, I want you just to take a minute to reflect, look at the different emojis. How would you think your son or daughter to feel about reading? So on there, it might be that they feel unhappy about reading. They might be reluctant readers. They might get angry with you if you suggest it, or they might be totally fine. Here's some facts about reading.
A lot of this has been generated by the National Literacy Trust, and you will find quite a lot of interesting stuff on their website if you wanted to find out more about this. But what we discovered over the last couple of years, and we've been looking at lots of research and reading into literacy, and what we've discovered that over after 6 years of increasing reading enjoyment, children and young people's reading enjoyment decreased in 2017, 2018, and that continued for many years afterwards. This also went hand in hand with levels of daily reading decreasing as well. So what we're finding is students are reading less and enjoying it less. And what we can say, again, from the statistics, is that children and young people's reading engagement has steadily fallen over the past 4 years as well. And whether that's been affected in any way by lockdown, we're not entirely sure yet because we haven't quite got the data for that. But we are very interested in the reasons and the trends that are going on here.
Absolutely. And if you have a look at this image on the screen, perhaps this is what we're after. Perhaps this is what we want. We've got a young girl there with a big hefty bookcase behind her with loads of different books in. There's no phone in her hand. She's engulfed in that book with absolutely no distractions. However, we're not that naive. We know what the reality is with both parents as well. Students are glued to their devices, and there doesn't seem at the minute to be any room in their life for anything else. Many parents say this to us at parents' evening, oh, he used to read all the time in middle school, or she loved reading when she was younger, I don't know what's happened. And we feel as if there's a real gulf from students reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid in year 7 to year 9 when they simply don't read at all.
So what is so special about reading then? Well, again, we've done quite a bit of research into this, and we obviously know from our own experience here in school as well, because we've seen this happen ourselves, is that young people who read for pleasure make more progress in not just English, but in maths and other subjects as well, between the ages of 10 and 16 than those who rarely read. So we can say with quite a lot of confidence that strong reading ability will enable students to absorb and understand information in all subjects. And also what we do know is that reading for pleasure is one of the most important factors in young people's brain development. And those who read for enjoyment every day will often get better results than those who don't. So this ultimately means the following. We know, therefore, that students who read more regularly will have more options in life as they grow older. So they can think about what they might want to do after GCSE. They can think about what they might want to do after being in full-time education, whether it's university or a job. Statistically as well, apparently, students who read more earn more money as an adult, which is always a great way to motivate them a little bit more to pick up that book. But more importantly, perhaps, it's that students and young people who read regularly are more likely to be happy and self-confident, which ultimately means that students are confident expressing themselves and communicating lots of different ways. It also means that they're prepared and ready to access the curriculum and all the different sort of varieties that the curriculum comes in. And it also means that students who read more can read, understand, and fully respond to GCSE level questions. And we'll talk about that in more detail now.
Absolutely. Reading to a certain level is crucial for every GCSE subject. And we've seen lots of changes with GCSEs over years, but currently students have to sit over 30 hours of exams in year 11. And the reading age of material is actually 5 years and 7 months. So students really do need to be reading regularly in order to hit that. And we've got some examples of exam papers at GCSE to share with you. So this is an example of a chemistry exam. And if you have a little look, there's quite a lot of jargon on there, for example, acid and conical flask, and lots of vocabulary for them to understand and decodify. But also you've got terminology, but the actual task on the right-hand side is to describe how Alex could use the equipment. And again, describing in science is a very different skill to describing in English. Similarly, on the physics one that I've put up on the screen now for you. This time, again, lots of jargon, lots of information there, but you've also got the task at the bottom which is to discuss which data in the table. So discuss, again, very different expectation from this teacher to explain. And finally, we've got a maths one, and it still staggers me how much reading is actually involved in maths. There's lots of narrative there. Keywords, again, what's the command word there? It's explain at the bottom. And it's thinking about how you explain in maths compared to science, compared to English. So basically, reading is absolutely essential for all students in order to access the material for them to be successful at GCSE. And one thing we talk about a lot are command words. So students really need to know what topic is being asked about, what keywords they need to answer that question, what is the command word, and how that affects what they write, and how they can link their keywords together in order to get more marks. Reading to a certain level is crucial for all subjects, and as part of our ongoing assessment of students, we've looked carefully at the information from middle schools. We've also looked at their Key Stage 2 assessment, and we've identified those students whose reading and writing may need some intervention this last term of school in order to achieve their goals at GCSE. And there's lots and lots of different initiatives being planned across school, and we want to discuss one with you today. So that is why we've contacted you. We believe all children will benefit from reading more, and we're hoping that we want to scaffold and support that over the next term.
So our initiative that we're inviting your child to get involved in is called Nuts and Bolts, and we'll specifically be looking at the following things that you can see on the screen there. The key thing we're looking at is how to ensure students have got the reading and writing confidence required to achieve their potential at GCSE. And as we heard earlier, of course, questions are written for a reading age of 15 years and 7 months, which is a crucial thing to make sure that we've been able to achieve with your student before we head towards GCSE. It's also therefore going to be improving and developing the following skills. So we're going to be building vocabulary. It's all about comprehension, so it's being able to understand a text that's put before us. It's knowing what to do when you don't know a word or a particular piece of language. And also we're going to be using those skills to build on the quality of writing, improving our grammar, but also looking at silent reading and concentration and focus. But also we're going to be making sure that the students enjoy themselves, and we're going to come back to confidence and enjoyment all the time. So how will this work? Well, we propose to use tutorial time in Year 9 to deliver one focused staff-led session per week, so students won't be coming out of any core subjects or key subjects there. This will start at the earlier time of 8:30 every Wednesday morning. There will be a variety of different venues, so sometimes we'll be using A Block Hall and sometimes we'll be using the library, but we would expect students to be arriving at around 8:25 a.m. where breakfast will be available. And the following staff will be involved. We've got some key staff involved in delivering this process who are all trained in the strategy and technique that we're going to be looking at. Groups will be very small and very friendly. They will take into account the individual needs of the students involved, and students will be fully supported throughout the process, which will last until the end of the school year. There's going to be lots of other exciting opportunities for students to get involved too. We're hoping to arrange a trip for students, and we'll also be accessing students throughout the process, assisting students throughout the process to ensure that it remains the best option for them at this particular time in their education.
With all this in mind as well, we'd like to ask really for your support at home, because current research does suggest that alongside school, the most effective place is in their home. So developing positive reading habits around reading and writing can have a huge impact on their achievement in school. And many of you may already be doing this at home, but it's just that idea of modelling reading at home. If you read a book or an article that you think they'll find interesting, please show it to them and discuss the big world ideas and what's happening in the world at the moment. And a selection of both fiction and non-fiction will help to support students with their GCSE. Furthermore, our emails are on the screen in front of you. Please feel free to keep in contact with us and we can keep you updated on how we feel they're progressing. We've got a recommended reading list on our school website. Please have a look at it, and we do send suggestions regularly, and this might be something that you can do in supporting us. Discuss what they're reading, what they might like to read, show them an article. We may be in touch really with you if there's anything in particular that we think they need to work on over their particular 6 weeks holiday. And please do, we've got a massive school library. Please encourage them to go and visit it. If there's a book that isn't in the library, we'd happily go away and purchase books that students request. Okay, thank you for listening.